I am standing on our porch watching the HOA's brand new bridge foundation hang over a 3-foot ditch. 76-year-old Grandpa and I dug at 4:30 this morning, while the sheriff explains to their perfect president that the only person trespassing out here is her. She is clutching her clipboard like a life raft, staring at the cracks in her expensive concrete. Brock, the HOA enforcer, is pale and quiet, and all I can think is if she had just left our old fence alone, none of this would be happening. A month ago, I would not have believed that a stack of crumpled papers, a tape measure, and a shovel could beat an entire HOA. But here we are. And yeah, that happened. My name is Sawyer Boone, and this is about the time a group of people who thought they owned everything past their front steps met my grandfather's idea of a boundary. We live on the edge of Maple Crest Reserve, one of those shiny subdivisions with stone entrance walls and matching mailboxes. And then there is us, an old farmhouse, a faded red barn, and a weathered oak split rail fence my Grandpa Fletcher built with his dad in 1983. To us, that fence is family photos and wedding pictures and stories about stubborn men setting posts by hand. To them, it is non-compliant perimeter fencing negatively affecting community aesthetics. You know what I mean. Their president Cassidy Marlowe rolled in with a law degree, a sharp suit, and the kind of smile that says she already decided who matters. From the moment Maple Crest went up, she treated our place like a problem to be fixed. Me, I am the grandson who moved back after Dad passed, writing from my childhood room, which in certain eyes translates to harmless and easy to ignore. She misread us. It starts on a Tuesday before sunrise. I wake up to this high, thin whine, then the full scream of a chainsaw and the crack of wood. It is 5:28 a.m. Sky still purple. I yank on boots and bolt for the porch. Half our fence is gone. Sections that stood my whole life are stacked like trash. 3 guys in neon vests are cutting through the rest efficient board. A white truck with the Maple Crest HOA logo is parked at an angle. Headlights on the wreckage, and next to it stands Cassidy in a charcoal suit. Like it is 9 on a workday, heels in the gravel clipboard under her arm, watching. Not the workers, not the fence. Us. Grandpa is on the porch, rail boots on work shirt, buttoned measuring tape in his hand. He is calm in that way that makes my heart pound harder. "What is this supposed to be?" I call out. Cassidy lifts her chin. "Good morning, Mr. Boone, Mr. Boone," she says. "Per the notice on your door, your fence encroaches 6 feet into HOA common property. So pursuant to Section 4.2, we have initiated removal at your expense." I say I never saw a notice. She says it was there. I say that fence was here decades before her subdivision. She says if we had documentation, we should have presented it at the board meeting. While we talk, a worker slams a sledgehammer into the corner post from my grandparents' wedding photos. It snaps and drops. My fists tighten. I step off the porch, and Grandpa's fingers close around my wrist. "Not now," he murmurs. That quiet stops me more than a shout. Cassidy smirks, tosses out, "If you interfere, I will involve law enforcement." And 15 minutes later, they are gone, leaving tire ruts and splinters where 40 years of our life used to run. Inside, Grandma stands at the window, coffee-cold eyes on the empty line. "He built that with his daddy," she says. Grandpa does not rant. He walks to his workshop. When I follow, the bench is covered in paper. Our deed tax receipts, a folded survey map, a faded photo of that brand new fence. He lays the survey flat, traces the east boundary from the county stone marker, Taps a note. Fence installed 5 feet inside property line. So they are lying, I say. He nods once. Tomorrow, he says, we go to the county. Next morning, we walk into the Redmond County Land Office with a manila folder. June, behind the counter, pulls the original plat, spreads it out, and frowns. Your fence is on your side, she says. Always has been. She prints certified copies, stamps them, hands them over. On the drive back, Grandpa is quiet, gears turning. Back home with the fence gone, we finally see what they were hiding. Right along that line sits a fresh concrete pad, 25 feet long. Rebar teeth sticking up wooden forms still bolted on. Beyond it, maple crest stakes and orange flags line up like arrows. They cut our fence and poured the starter for an access bridge from their cul-de-sac onto what they decided would be common. Grandpa checks the GPS points he logged. When they broke ground, matches them to the survey and the stone marker. And every number says the same. That slab is 8 feet inside our land. The anger that hits then is not loud. It is cold. They did not make a mistake. They bet we would not check. That night we sit at the kitchen table, me with my laptop. Grandpa with a legal pad. I read state property codes. He circles lines. Any construction on private land without consent is unlawful encroachment. Owner may demand removal and may take reasonable measures on their own property to protect boundaries and manage drainage. He taps reasonable measures. What are you thinking? I ask. They built on my land, he says. I am going to dig a drainage ditch on mine. I half laugh, then see he is serious. They will call it sabotage. He shrugs. Then they can bring their papers, and I will bring mine. That is the turn right there. The moment the man they treated like background decides he has had enough. And I realize I am done being the quiet one, too. We set the alarm for 4. At 4:30, stars still out, we park by the slab with shovels and a wheelbarrow. Using the certified survey, the GPS and the stone marker, we line little flags along the real boundary. 3 feet deep, 2.5 wide, from here to here, Grandpa says. Stay on our side. Take pictures. The first swing of the pickaxe nearly tears my shoulders, but every chunk of clay feels like taking something back. We fall into a rhythm. Break shovel haul. No small talk. Around 6, our neighbor Vernon pulls up, takes one look, lets out a low whistle. They really poured that on you, he says. Sure did, Grandpa answers. Vernon grins. Hand me a shovel. By 7:30, the 3 of us have cut a clean trench along the true line, 3 feet deep, every inch documented. The outer edge of the slab hangs above it. Tiny fractures, starting where the support is gone. We drag ourselves back to the porch. Now we wait, Grandpa says. Not long. Cassidy's black sedan slides up. Door slams, heels, stabbing dirt as she storms to the ditch, stops, spins toward us. What did you do? She shouts. You destroyed HOA property. You undermined a community structure. This is criminal. Grandpa looks like a man answering the weather. I dug a drainage ditch on my property line, he says. If your structure is on my land, that is your problem. She jabs at her phone. I am calling the sheriff. She adds all the dramatic words. Unstable, dangerous, retaliation, like she is auditioning. Sheriff Clayton Reed arrives, listens to her full speech, then walks up to our porch. Mr. Boone, they say you dug that trench to damage HOA property, he says. Grandpa hands him the folder. Certified survey old fence photos, fresh ditch photos with flags and GPS readings. Reed takes his time. Then heads down to the creek, finds the stone marker, counts off distance, checks our flags and the slab. When he comes back, he looks at Cassidy. "Ma'am, do you have a certified county survey showing this pad is on HOA land?" She flashes her phone. "Our engineer's report." "Filed with the county?" he asks. Silence. "Right now," he says, "the only official record says this is Boone property, and this ditch is on his side. I am not arresting him for digging a drainage ditch on his own land. If anything, you all need to talk to the county attorney about building where you should not." The color drains from her face. "He ruined our bridge," she insists. "If your bridge is on his land without permission," he says, "that is not his crime. And that is the hook you heard at the start, playing out right there in the yard." A week later, a letter arrives from the county attorney. Maple Crest HOA placed a foundation on private Boone property. Without authorization, must remove it, restore the boundary, and pay fines. No drama, just signatures. The next crew that shows up is quiet. They jackhammer their illegal slab haul away the debris. Then, under county supervision, they rebuild our fence where it always belonged. Grandpa walks the line, runs his hand along the top rail, and finally, just barely smiles. Word moves fast. People inside Maple Crest hear how their president tried to steamroll the old farmer next door and ended up exposed. At the next HOA meeting, Cassidy steps down to focus on other opportunities. Her power shrinks the way bad concrete does when you cut out its support. One evening I asked Grandpa if he feels like he won. He shakes his head. "Wasn't trying to win," he says. "Just wasn't gonna let them take what your great-granddad and I built. Fence isn't about keeping folks out. It's about respect, about knowing where you end and the next person begins." That sticks with me more than the fines or the cracks, because we did not yell, we did not bluff, we did not throw a punch. We measured, we documented, we dug exactly where we were allowed, and we let their own arrogance cave in on itself. Some folks would call that petty. Some would call it justice. Me, I think sometimes the quiet way is the loudest answer. So what do you think? Did we go too far? Not far enough? Was this the right way to deal with people who weaponize rules? And have you ever had to stand your ground against someone who thought a title or an HOA letterhead made them untouchable? Tell me in the comments. Tell me where you are watching from, and share the story you still carry about power property and the moment you finally said enough.